Welcome back, sir. If
Thank
you
you very
can hear
much.
me, we are on air already.
Okay, I can hear you. It's great.
Yeah. Thank you so much once again for agreeing to have this conversation with me.
It's a pleasure.
Okay, so let me quickly apologize to those who are watching as well. For the few minutes we spend setting things up. If you're conversant with my video, you would know that this is not my background. I had to go somewhere else to quickly improvise for power supply. Thank you so much for staying tuned. And like I said, we have with us Dr. Segun Akinlolu, beautiful Nubia. I would say that I feel somehow calling him doctor because it's about my dad's age. So I want to call him daddy. And I hope that will be fine by him, actually. So daddy, welcome to my show.
Yeah, daddy. Okay, well, I don't know about daddy. I think you know, all these titles are great. Titles are always great. But yeah, you just call me beautiful is fine. Let's go on with it. If you want, if it's hard, just call me Baba Beautiful then, if that, or Brother Beautiful, if that's or call me BN. Maybe BN is easy. Just say BN is good. I think that's good enough.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. Once again, welcome to my show. So I thought we'll be having conversations around what our society has become. I mean, society is what you have always talked about in your music, how we can build communal relationships, how we can help one another to grow, you know, how we can all come together and achieve our goals as a society with the values of truth, honesty, contentment, like you have always preached. Would it surprise you that Nigeria has turned out to be the way it is, or maybe the African society in general? Because what we see in our society is not exclusive to Nigeria. In fact, some have called it an advent of neocolonialism, or our refusal as Africans to decolonize the structures that the Europeans left behind. What I'm just saying is that it's not peculiar to Nigeria. We have the same sort of endemic in Ghana. We have it in other African countries, ritual killings, glorification of material wealth without questioning the source, and all of those things that we've come to know in our society today. How would you possibly discuss those things, and would it surprise you, having been somebody who has preached over time to sort of create an escape route from these challenges? Would it surprise you that we still find ourselves stuck in them?
There's no surprise at all, no surprise, because you know, people think that life is very complex, and it is. On one level, it is complex, but also it's quite simple. And a lot of the things that hail us, a lot of the problems that we have, a lot of the problems that we all think are so huge, their roots are very simple. And so when, as a young person, I mean, you are probably in your 20s now, as a young person, you know, I was in a hurry. I thought Nigeria was really in trouble. I mean, I'm talking about even when I was in my teenage years, say 1984, you know, and I used to think Nigeria was in such a bad state. And you could see it, that we were in trouble. It was going to get worse. And even the songs that I was writing at that time, you know, 83, 84, 85, 1990, all those songs, I was, you know, Dear Africa, I'm worried for you, all those kind of songs. And I was, because we could see it happening. You could see it coming. And it was just going to get worse and worse. And it will get worse before it gets better. You know, so of course I'm not surprised the way things have turned out. I think this is what you get when you don't prepare your society, when you don't protect your society, when you don't teach your people the right things, when you don't have people whose voices are voices of caution, the voices of calm, the voices of positivity. If you don't allow those voices to be heard, and this is what you get. So I'm not surprised at all. You were talking about the colonial structures that were left in place. What people forget is that we what we call in Nigeria now, right? Nigeria, it was put together by certain economic interests. All of us tend to think, oh, we have a country, our country, but this is somebody's business. See, Nigeria is somebody's business. It was put together by economic interests, and it was run according to what those economic interests wanted. And that's still how it is being run. Now, when you own something like that, let's think of it as a company where you can decide, well, I've set up this company, I've run it long enough. Now I want to appoint a board to run this company for me. Now that board is not allowed to just sack people anywhere, anyhow, or treat the people working there anyhow. They have to be nice to those people. You want a board, a governing board, that will ensure that the system works perfectly so that your company can produce your products that you want to sell and make you a nice profit. This is what Nigeria is. So, and every 4 years or whatever you think, we have new CEOs, we have new governing boards that are sanctioned by those who own this business enterprise. And, of course, those who own that enterprise can step back basically and say, I'm retiring now, I'm stepping back, I'm just gonna be like, so I give you your independence, I give you your whatever. And then you've got this governing board and this, there's a CEO and they're gonna run these things, but they are still reporting to us, right? Even though it's not a public report, it's still reporting to us. And if we don't like what they are doing, we can create change. We can kick them out. Yeah? And that's what has been going on for a long, long, long time. And it's not going to see, when you're a conquered people, you have to accept that it won't change for a long time. The strength you need to change that must come from deep within. You must rearrange your people. You must rearrange your mind. You must understand humanity and the way human beings have always run their societies. None of these things came from some heaven. Human organizations were set up by humans. So what you're calling democracy, whatever, all these things were set up by humans. These are all human ideas. The way humans set up their societies, it's all human beings who created it. The religions that all of us like to make noise about, it's human beings. It wasn't some god that created those religions. It's human beings that set up those things, right? What you're calling the truths and the lies, it's human beings that set up all the truths and the lies. And so everything is possible. When people tell me it's not possible to do what I say we have to do, I tell them it's possible. Because what we are trying to remove, what we're trying to change was set up by human beings. And we as humans have the power within ourselves to change our societies. And it is not difficult.
Thank you so much. That's a very beautiful one. Before I move on to my next question, I want to say that when you see me turn my video off, it is so that your video can become emboldened on the social media channels. So there is no problem at all.
Okay.
Now, I read a little about post-colonial Africa and how our immediate forefathers tried to decolonize after fighting of colonialism, the Julius Nyerere, the Kwame Nkrumah, and even a little bit of them that were not so, that were more of indifferent, like Obafemi Awolowo. Would you say that these people and their tremendous efforts, I don't want to say failed, but that would be almost the near correct word, especially to address the state that we have found ourselves? Do you think the decolonization efforts by Africa's nationalists that actually fought for independence, would you think that their legacies were not carried on, or their message did not spread enough to have peers or successors to take on after they had died? Because even though I wasn't born at that time, but Awolowo's history is not far off. It's not something that happened in the Stone Age. We hear and we see some of what they did, and it just appears like, look, when those people left, it looks like there was an end to people-centered governance, and then everything just became for me, individualism, and myself alone. So would you say that they didn't do so much well in making sure that the message spread enough to have enough successors and peers when they were gone?
Well, I think if we focus too much on the individual, then we miss the point, right? there's no individual who is complete. And some of those men that we've mentioned, they were heroes to our fathers or to some of us. And we can look at some of the things that they did well, and we can praise them for it. But then they all had failings too, at a personal level. But we cannot focus on the individual like that. We should think about processes. Now, if these people set up a process that wasn't sustainable because they didn't have the people to take over after them, or if they set up a process to liberate their people's minds, but the owners of the businesses that we are calling countries, if those owners truncated those ideas and used their might to make sure that those things didn't work, that is one thing. If other forces within the system who didn't want growth, who were looking to make themselves wealthy and powerful, if they were the ones who made sure those programs didn't work, okay, we can try to understand that. But what we shouldn't ever forget is that somebody set something in process. You can talk about Awolowo, for example. You can say, their free education program, their whatever, all the things they did. It wasn't a loss. There's no loss there, because whatever good came out of that system is reflected in some of us now. We mustn't forget that, so that we can say things that need to be said. It doesn't mean that the change we're looking for will happen right now, but we must sow those seeds. So I like to think of some of these people who have come before us, who try to do something positive with their lives. I don't like to look at their negatives. I look at the positives that they try to do. And I think, well, we must carry it on, right? And it might take 2-3 generations for you to see the fruits, but we must carry it on. And that is where I stand, let's carry it on, because many of us like to think the solution to all these problems are immediate. There's a short-term solution, which very soon we will go to the polls in Nigeria and we'll go and elect. And some people are already making noise about it. Get your PVC and get this and that and go and vote. And that's a short-term solution. You can hopefully you find a good person and you put him there. But if the people, the 299 million people or whatever who are going to be working with him are not on the same page as him, or don't want the same things, or refuse to listen to him or her, then you are wasting your time. So, but those are short-term solutions. So we have people that you call activists now who are busy fighting the system, trying to get one small thing changed or that other small thing changed. Those are short-term solutions that people can do intensely and trying to, fighting for justice. But, at these small levels, those are specific, short-term specific goals. But the long term is what I keep talking about. That long term is the one we must embrace, and we refuse to embrace it because I think it's difficult for our people to accept it at the individual level, that you must fight yourself to make yourself a better person. And that for the common man, you are not powerless. You can be part of change. You can be part of the change we want to see in this society. Because people always say, but all I can do is vote. No, what you can do for the long-term change is more than just vote. The voting is not a big deal. The long-term change is about you changing yourself and then changing your immediate environment and believing that in doing that, others will borrow from you and start to do it. And that maybe in 50 years, there will be change. But no, nobody wants to wait 50 years. People want the change right now. That's the problem. That's been the problem. I sang Owojuri in 2006. Now, that is a very boring song. Even I listen to it and I know how boring it is because it's just preaching. Who wants to listen to a stupid, boring song like that? They say we are free and he's just going and talking like he's talking and singing. Then he says, but our hope is in the children. We must teach them this. That is how many years ago now? 16 years ago. Imagine if we listened to that song and acted on that song. Now, the kids that we brought up on that song will be 16 years old. In 9 years, they could be becoming governors and with the right ideas in their head. If you sow the seeds now and do the right things, in 30 years, we could have good leaders and good followership. See, because it's not about leadership, it's also about the followership. If we start to do the right things now, we can hope that in 40 years, Nigeria will not be the same place, irrespective of what the owners of Nigeria want. Because the owners of Nigeria, they're not saying Nigeria shouldn't work. Don't forget. They're not saying it shouldn't work. It actually pays them for Nigeria to work well because they'll keep getting their profits. But the people in Nigeria will be happy too. Nigeria is not the only country that is owned by other people. Some of the countries that Nigerians like to think are advanced, like Canada and the rest, they are also owned by people. They're owned by certain forces, but they've set up systems that will ensure that the people who live there have a good life. you have to, what I'm trying to say, you see, when you read human history, when you see the way human beings have always organized themselves, you realize the idea of individual freedom, all those things that we want, all those utopian things. Yeah, they're just that, they're just utopian. But it is possible for the individual to find joy in his life and to find, what do we all want? Any human being you meet, even the most ugly, evil, greedy, violent person, they start out saying they just want happiness, they want fulfillment, they want success, they want peace of mind. But at some point, they start thinking the only way I can get success or fulfillment or this or that is by seeking power or by seeking wealth. And so they start accruing it by any means. Any means. But if you read their books or if you talk to them, if you get close to them, at the end, they always have regrets because they realize, okay, I didn't do it the proper way. I left too much unhappiness in other people's lives. I left too much pain in people's lives. There's no person you will meet. I read about somebody who met Cecil Rhodes, the great, I don't like to call him great. He was a very greedy human being. That man is the epitome of total greed and selfishness and total inhumanity. But he was a rich, powerful man. And there are Africans who are taking grants from his, they call them Rhodes Scholars, right? And there are Africans who are benefiting from all this now, from the money, the wealth he left behind. But I read a book where somebody was saying, towards the end of his life, Cecil Rhodes was, he started to realize the totality, the total failure of all his efforts. He started to realize how, in a way, he had failed because he couldn't really, the success he wanted, he didn't really get it. Because if people around you are not, if they don't love you, really, the way I can go out, for example, and people love me, you can come to my show and you say how people love me. They don't have to be many people. And a powerful Nigerian politician will come to the same place and they will say, Baba, but he knows that they don't love him. He knows they're just saying that because of the money or the power he has. And I think that's how Cecil Rhodes felt at the end, that he hadn't really earned people's love. He hadn't really earned people's respect, that it was just all about the money he had. And so when you think about how the average human being is out there, they start out in life wanting to just have that success, a sense of fulfillment, happiness. That's what they set out to do. And we can guide them in the proper way to find that. Because every time I go to all these schools, I talk to kids, I tell them, if your neighbor is not happy, you cannot be at peace. Eh? If your neighbor is not at peace, you cannot be happy. That is one old ancient code that one should live by. If your neighbor is not happy, you cannot be at peace. If your neighbor is not at peace, you cannot be happy. It sounds very, but it's simple. But life is simple if you want it to be simple. The other thing is that you are only as rich as the poorest in your community. You're only as rich as the poorest in your society. And so when a Nigerian rich man, they say one man there is the richest in Africa. And I just laugh at them. Like, they say it's successful. You're not successful if your country is like that. Don't you see Nigeria the way it is? Is that how we should live? Pictures always come in when you see, they say the governor in one state is trying, he's putting street lights, he's building bridges. But you go on the road and see how our people live. We're not building our people. We're building bridges and building street lights and building trains. Yeah, fantastic. But we're not building our people. Our people are still the same. From the 70s, when I was growing up, you still go there, you still see the way they are selling their jaga on the road. You still see the gutters, you still see everything. Our lives have not improved. Our people's lives have not, we have not even improved our children. I am very, very particular about children. People don't realize what a child means. Do you know what a child means? A child could mean a World War II. Do you know how many people died in World War II? Do you know how many people died in World War II? So many millions of people died in World War II, all due to a child, one child. Well, several children, but one child was at the top of it. And somebody didn't raise that child well, properly. And people who made that child in his life didn't try to guide him. The power in the child who can change Nigeria, who can help us, is somewhere now. Maybe it's not there. But I'm hoping that when I'm talking to the parents, when I'm talking to these children, that their minds will start getting reset and we can start to find the path forward. But the change we want to see, that the lasting change, is not going to be a quick fire thing. No. We will keep doing all the short-term things. We will go to our elections, we will do, but we must all put our minds on the long term. And that will come through re-educating our people.
Thank you so much, beautiful Nubia. So I have a couple of questions to ask and areas to branch, but I want you to quickly talk about your transition from veterinary medicine to music. How was it like? I was at your show in Lagos and you said you've always wanted to sing. In fact, I think you said you wrote What a Feeling when you were in UI or thereabouts. So how was it like just abandoning being a veterinary doctor with the sort of comfort and the riches that comes with it to become a different kind of musician, one that in your own words does not get government endorsement or government shows? How was it like, sir?
Well, I don't like to call it an abandonment. It was like I just moved across from one thing to another. Of course, I've said this so many times. I'm just going to quickly run through it. That I've always considered myself that I was a musician before I became a vet. See, because I had this gift as a child, and I knew I had a gift, and I knew this gift. See, first thing I have to establish is I like to think that being born in Nigeria was not a mistake, because as a child I was very sensitive, and I really, really had to fight within myself to accept why I was born in a place like this, a place that didn't seem destined for progress, a place that didn't seem destined for greatness, a place where, I just was not happy as a child, as a youth, because I didn't see the signs that this was a place where one could feel a sense of happiness at any point. So I was always questioning myself and questioning my purpose. But then eventually I started to tell myself, you are born here there's a reason why you are born here. There's a reason why you are born in this place. And then when I held on to that talent that I got, I thought, yes, I can use this talent to improve this environment. Instead of complaining and lamenting, I can use this gift to embolden my people, to strengthen my people, to guide my people. Because even as a child, I understood life and humanity. Even as a child, I could see beyond all our games. What most of us do, living this life, game, yeah. And I could see all our strivings. I could see all this, all the emptiness of it all. I could see it, and I could be above it all. And I am still above it all. The way I look at the world, I'm like, I think of myself, I think many artists are like that. I can stay out of it all and watch all of us running about like mice. And I just laugh and I think, well, I can guide the people this way. I can teach the people this way. And so I thought this music was something I could use to improve my environment, to help my people. And, but of course, in those days, you had to go to school and become a doctor or an engineer or a lawyer. That's it. See? So then I decided I ended up in veterinary medicine, which I enjoyed immensely. I enjoyed the study of it. I enjoyed practicing it too. I practiced it for about 8 years, and I enjoyed working. I made some money. I learned a lot of stuff about managing people, managing money, and things like that. And then at some point, I just decided, I'm going to move into my natural destiny, which is music. This is what my job is supposed to be. My job here is supposed to be. Use this music to help my people, to lift my people, and to guide my people, to show them the way. So, and that's what I've been, so it's just a natural transition. There was nothing, it wasn't an abandonment. I just moved gently across into what I thought was my destiny. As a vet, I can probably, you can do a lot as a vet to help your society. You can take care of the animals. A lot of vets are actually involved in food production. Many people don't realize that. They think vets just take care of dogs and stuff. A lot of vets in Nigeria are actually involved in poultry farming, cattle farming, things like that. They are the root of a lot of the food that we're getting, animal protein that we get in Nigeria. So, and it's very rewarding for many of them. So, I could have helped society that way too. But I think as a musician, you can do more. People listen to you. You can reach people in many, many parts of the world. You'll be surprised where people, how far my music has gone, where people listen to it. Although it has a global reach. And people listen to your words and, it changes their lives. It changes their perspective on things. And, it's not just for now. What I'm doing now is just, I'm putting it out there. It's all there. I'm way, way far ahead of my listeners. Even the ones who are listening now, some of them don't even know the meaning of some of the things I've written out. It will take some years for them to understand it. And then, it will be there for generations. And that's the beauty of it. The music will be there. It's a gift. You use it for your people. You leave it out there for them to, and the children who are coming after us, they will have, at my shows, there are times when people will come up and say, it was my mother that was your fan. It was, in fact, recently I met a young guy who's 19. He said it was my grandfather who loved your music. Like, really? Grandfather? Yes, he used to play your music every morning. And then he passed it on to my mother. And now my mother, this is what we listen to in our family. And it was like 17 or 19 or something like that. He told me his age. And, when you meet people like that, you realize, the timelessness of this kind of music, that it will carry on. And children will like, and it's not just for you to dance. They can hear the words and it will shape their minds, it will shape their minds, it will help us to find a way out of the problems that we are in. And I think for me, as a musician, that's the highest point, is when you can leave a legacy like that, when it's just there, people can, because if you have a gift and you don't use it that way, I don't know. I mean, there are musicians of different types. There are those who are entertainers. And there's nothing wrong in that. Some people just entertain. That's what they do. What I do with music, it's totally different. For me, music is a tool that we use to teach, to guide.
Well, thank you very much, sir. I should say that that young man is not alone. I also grew up listening to Owuro Lojo, and not directly from my parents, but our neighbors.
Wow.
Our neighbors used to play that song, and it used to be very loud.
Wow.
That woman,
and they were probably annoying at the beginning, right?
I wouldn't call them annoying, but she was like the alarm clock for school children in the area. So immediately we hear the radio turn off. We know it's almost 4 minutes, to 7, and we need to just get up and get.
Do you know? I've heard from so many people who will say, I hated that song. I hated that song because once they put it on, it means you have to get up and go to school.
Exactly. It's a really beautiful song, and many other songs that you have written. I'm expecting my first child in a couple of weeks.
Wow. Congratulations to you. Wow.
Thank you so
beautiful.
Much. So I already have a list, of songs, your songs that are supposed to help mentor the child.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks to you and to many other parents who are doing this, because I know a lot of parents are doing this, both in Nigeria and abroad. They write me and tell me, my children are listening to your music. And I think is one of the best things you can do for your children is to let them be exposed to good stuff like this. Not just my music alone, but anything that has quality, that will open up their minds. We need to help our children. We need to guide them right. This is our duty. This is the biggest duty. It's not just going to vote for a president. I think our biggest duty is to develop a new generation that will be upstanding, that will be upright, that will be courageous, that will be a master of that environment. That will be a perfect amalgam of traditional wisdom and modern knowledge. A perfect blend of traditional wisdom and modern knowledge. That will be a powerful force. And that is where we got to go.
Okay. Unfortunately, Dr. Akinlolu, I have a slight technical problem.
Okay.
I think we have about 8 minutes or thereabout to go. So I'll just quickly put these things together so that we can quickly round up.
Yes.
So what's your view of divinity? I mean, I know of your song, Baba Mimo, where you appealed to the creator to help us, to teach us to love ourselves. But beyond that, what's your view of God? What is God like to you?
Well, what people believe, I've always said it, what people believe is what they believe. I don't like to judge people based on what they believe. I don't judge people based on their gender. I don't judge people based on their color. And I think all of us should imbibe that. We should all try to be people who don't we treat people, as human beings who deserve all our total love and sacrifice, that will be a very beautiful mind. A beautiful mind only sees the human being. That human being needs your love, needs your total devotion. That human being needs your selfless love. So we don't judge them by their faith. We don't judge them by their color. We don't judge them by their gender. We don't judge them by their social class. So I always say discussions around what people believe or not, that is, I don't really get involved in those things, because I think it's all very subjective. It's all very personal. People can believe whatever they want to believe. But when we all meet and gather, okay, it's our humanity that connects us. And that humanity deserves that we must love ourselves. If we cannot love ourselves, if we cannot respect ourselves, then we cannot have progress as a society.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I would, honestly, it's quite painful. It's very painful. So let me quickly ask another question. This mono ritual that we see in our society, I understand your position that it's a reflection of the values that we have preached over time. But let me ask you a very tricky question. As somebody who is very familiar with our cultural and traditional roots, do you believe in the possibility of spirits bringing money to people after they have offered one sacrifice or the other? Very quickly, sir.
Like I've told you, people can believe whatever they want to believe, but I believe in the things that I can deal with, the things that I can see. And my own thing is, please let us teach our children the importance of hard work. Let's teach them the importance of honesty and truth, the importance of patience and humility, and courage and perseverance. And above all, the most important one, the importance of contentment. When we learn that, we will stop chasing shadows. Because a lot of what we do is just chasing shadows. We need to just, I think we need to focus on the things that are important. And please, let's try to raise a new generation of strong people whose heads are clear, whose minds are positive, who can become leaders and followers of the next 40 years. In like 25, 30 years, we can have a new country, a new society. It is possible if we reset our minds and talk to our children and train them the right way.
Absolutely, sir. Let me also ask another question. I have to, quickly rush them. Do you have, I understand that music is your tool and music is what you want to do, but do you have any interest whatsoever in running for political office at any time at all?
I don't like the word run, because there's no reason why. Why am I running for? It's like we're chasing something. I'm not interested in chasing power or grabbing power. I'm not interested in all that stuff. I think what I'm doing right now is the job I have to do, is to sensitize the people. My music is a tool of mass sensitization. It takes a lot of energy out of me to do it. And so, but at some point, who knows, in future, as an elder in society, the society might call upon you to come and lead them physically or whatever. Yeah, I'm ready to serve at any time, but I'm not looking to run or to chase power. I'm not interested in that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dr. Akinlolu, beautiful Nubia. Okay, so another person, one of my friends is asking, okay, I think I've asked that, like other indigenous songs that inform us about African socialization, yours is exceptional, but sir, do you consider passing your style down as a legacy so as the contents of Orio Jori can be actualized?
Yeah, but it's already been passed down. You don't, as an artist, you don't have to be the one saying I crown you as a successor. It's not like a throne. It's not like, no. Once you put music out there, it's got followers. The kids who are going to do better than what I'm doing now, the kids who are going to take what I'm doing and take it higher, they're already listening. They're out there. I may not even know them, but they're out there. They are being influenced by don't forget that I was influenced by some people. And so the same way, I will influence other people who will come after me.
Yeah, we appreciate your music, beautiful Nubia. But apart from singing about drugs, women, and money, do you think that Nigerian music, in its more popular context, is playing the role it should play in the liberation of our people?
The people who support all this music that you're talking about, all this nasty stuff, the people, they know why they are doing it. They're just using them to distract the people. They know what they are doing. Not just in Nigeria, it's all over the world. They do it in America too. They do it everywhere. They embrace whatever they think will dumb the people down, whatever they think will make the people more stupid. whatever will keep the people distracted from the real issues, they will support them. And so you don't think those people are just getting ahead because they are great. No, it's because they've got money behind them. They've got dirty money behind them. They've got powerful forces, powerful negative forces behind them. And so you have to, that is what you have to understand, that this is how these things are. What we need is more and more people like you and other people out there who are listening to us, people who believe in this true positive music, who believe that we can have change. They need to support this more. They need to support this more. They need to start, like in this age of social media, I'm always surprised how few of our fans even share what we put out there. But they are happy to quickly go and share the other things because it's cool to go and share those things. It's not cool to share beautiful Nubia's nonsense, boring talk and music, eh? But you say you're a fan. So if we really want to create that change, all of us have to work together. People who think that they don't like that kind of music, they want this kind of music, have to actually really, really support this kind of music. But like I've told you earlier, there's a place for every kind of music. You can entertain with music. You can be dance music, you can do that. But there's also a place for positive message music. It's so important for society. So you must balance it. It's a shame that on a Monday morning, Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning, in Lagos, you wake up and hear stupid music about going out to chase money without caring for anybody else. I don't care, as long as my belly is full. But you hear that kind of music on the Monday morning, going to work in Lagos. No, what you need to hear on a Monday morning is a song like Uwe Olojo. That's what you need to be hearing.
Absolutely.
And that is how you build. That's how you build society. Then on a Friday night, when you and I want to hang out and go clubbing, then we can go there and listen to all the other jams, and we can all dance and feel good. You say there are different purposes, but when you now take your club jams and play them on a Monday morning, that's where your society is in deep shit. I'm sorry for that language.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much. Beautiful Nubia. So I have about a minute left. I'll just use it to thank you so much for doing this. I wish it lasted longer. I had imagined that it would last longer, but Zoom is shutting me out because I didn't pay for this.
I get it.
So thank you so much. A whole lot of people wrote me text. They want me to read them out to you. I was hoping we'll do that at a later stage of the show. They want you to know that they really, really appreciate your music. Dele Farotimi asked me to tell you very, very kind words about the very good works that you are doing. I have Kainde Folorusho from the University of Lagos. I have Lanre Waju Thomas from Canada. It's my friend in Canada. And when he heard that you would be on my show, he wanted me to thank you. I have a couple of people who have written text that time would not permit me to read out to you. So I thank you so much, Dr. Akinlolu, for doing this with me. I hope sometime later when my platform is much bigger, we can have broader conversations that help us keep our people oriented. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, brother. You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Keep going strong. Keep going strong.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. That'll be all. Thank you very much for tuning in and for listening to Dr. Segun Akinlolu, beautiful Nubia with me. It's been a wonderful time, even though we couldn't have it, more lengthy than this. I hope that you will tune in next week when I'll be bringing another person across your way. Till then, my name is Ayola Babalola, and thank you for joining.